good for oil policy. What we would do, we would review it, we would analyze it, and ensure that we come out with a model that is fit for purpose.
ECG Contractors Association edia to ECG anim se wo monhwe na wo monye ne esese wo moye na ne omu hia bia wo monsa ebeto so peace kase ebo anumre ne nat na Institute for Education Studies bekasa edia first free senior high school nsama yete se nnuane ho akwa atwe no na etime aboa ye frem ya kusia ko abo djubetimi afem ya kusia insura be dia sede modro ma ozone chemist wo mo de ozone gala capsules abadwa so wo no mema immune system no enya ahoden enye no nko a sanso na ozone grab mixture eno so wo homotofo no eboa enkwada no nti wo ba no wo ma ne bi no mu a ne fon ne ti ne niema anadwo wontimi na ne saade ne nyina be free ho na timi ama obambo ho nsem etimi ejana na so na ompomudin so akoyie MTN we dey for you everywhere you go nti network so na yemfa ne manto babia eda high sense Ghana edi electronic appliances ahodo aba ase wunya bia na echese betimi aboa ma se television o se de ye bibia wo hia bia ebetimi aboa wo ye dofo roofing system to nsafro se adansi ho ne ma de ye wo mo na sabre de afikosi emfie miensa ye de abre salaried workers abanya dwuma ye fo se munyina momra na momehwe se de be ye be ntoto ya hodo a ebetimi aboa na dofo roofing system se wo mo ese afi besi mfie miensa na yebetimi edi amaw na wotua na nkakra fi so mo Societe General wo mo akabom budget cash and carry so the blue jeans energy drink aba a obi anim se eba energy drink dia enoa eye blue jeans vitamins ahodo vitamin B2 B3 B6 B12 ni nyina ewo hobi Raoul's Pharmaceuticals wo mo na the high lady virgin feminine wash by say wo mo the high lady virgin mixture aba it is a wubu nsa na se pains no ano odin na se wo bre na se wunya we nso a ebetimi abo wo no nso special eyes natural mineral water abudunsu sa wo pe baby du sika to a best point savings salons afi yen share ene ensam no Omampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama woni Independent Power Producers IPPS4 Asia womo ena enam kanea wi yakosombo efiri ho womo ankasa de omusika abewura mo mutimi mayenya kanea na yedidi dwuma efise wo se wate se wo hwese de niam sika wanhwa na dum so no na asan aba eti kwam befa so omo beye omo betoto omo niam mama niam agina baabi agina no ena womo etu ho na mo na no ena wo chem se wo hwe Ghana enyinam kanea ho dwumadi wo hawo ne abenidi a chance na achese se Independent Power Producers no abind wo kabeye 1.2 billion US dollars eye October 2024 na de ye de ato ho eno no eti mampani sinya de wo be hwe ne saa wo be hwe wo matena so evise wo beto ya na ye de aso awo na wo ma ye ho ntoto ye na aboa ama Ghana enyinam kane ho dwumadie no afa de ntoma pa efra.
I thought that it was important for me to meet you as president and tell you that I care about your concerns and what you're going through, and to say that we're going to work together with you to see how we can resolve the issues in the power sector. And so we're willing to take the bull by the horns and reform that sector of it, and also reform the governance in ECG so that it's running more efficiently than it does currently.
No mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama santo aso biem se ade ba kwa mo beye efa omen enyinam kane ho dwumadi be bia hyasie ne kowie de efa ne value chain no ho dwumadi no na ECG de esese ehwe ne ye pa fi se wontimi nya adwuma na obokasa.
The first thing is for us to deal with the issue of the value chain, the whole power value chain. And that means that we must start from the downstream all the way upstream. There are issues to do with availability of gas, and so that's upstream, how we get the companies in that space to increase exploration and bring on more gas so that we eliminate the use of fossil fuels and achieve our dream of gas to power 100%, which will bring down the cost of generation. That's the first thing. And the next is to see how we can bring more efficiency in terms of your sector and the production of power so that we can pass on any benefits to the Ghanaian people. But obviously, the bull in a China shop is Electricity Company of Ghana, the sick man of the power sector. I mean, you can't run an electricity utility and make 40% commercial and technical losses and continue to think that you have a viable business. And so something must give in that sector.
Eni ayeti ye omampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Salamat Kuku apente wono ene tintimye ede ebesom ye na mampanyina kache yedasu ejina ho na won nananom ahemfo badwa ye National House of Chiefs ehyiae na won wo hyiae na obo amane se ade baako a eda wo mo proso na eda na koma so ne se wo hene bi amamu eba wieye na wo hene foforo ba na wate se ntawantawa ne huroye bi aba no eno wo behwe na wo mo aye ho adwuma nkasa se de be ya so hene bi firi ho ade wo ba no asomdwe mapanso betimi aye adwuma na wo bra won nananom ahemfo badwa ehyiae na wo mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ebo amane se ebre no aso se yede niema ebesisi ye se de be ya ahensem ntawantawa de yebetimi asi ano kwa na yebehye bibia kama na we free ho a na we aba beto aso.
The issue of chieftaincy disputes has become a major issue. Anytime a chief passes away and a new chief has to be selected, invariably 2 rival chiefs or 3 rival chiefs suddenly appear. In the 1992 Constitution, it was decided from the unpleasant experiences of the past where government used to interfere in chieftaincy matters to leave the issue of chieftaincy completely to the chiefs themselves. That is the National House of Chiefs and the regional houses of chiefs. But then I do think that there are issues that come up, especially with the selection of new chiefs that creates security crisis. And so when law and order breaks down, government is called in to protect the peace. And so I think that we must work with you to see how we can prevent this from happening. I remember that at a point, it was decided that there should be a codification of the lines of succession. I don't know how far that project has gone, but it looks like the issue of disputes is becoming even worse by the day than it was before this codification took place.
Biem se ade baako nso a Supreme Court to see hu gina ya nananom ahemfo badwa anyi omo de ene se wo ye ohene a ahemfo hye wase no wuntimi mfrɛ wo mo se wo mo emra wanim na no ahemfo no hu ne se ase yemfa ne die ama wo mo.
I know when I came through your palaces, many of you raised the issue of the Supreme Court ruling barring chiefs from summoning their subjects to their palaces. And so when the opportunity comes to look at the Constitution again, I'm sure that you will have a position that you can present to be able to look at that aspect of it in order that we are able to make clear what the lines of authority are in respect of our traditional rulers.
Na mampanyi esan to asubiem se wo hye bose wo befa mampanyi na adwane biemu a nananom ahemfo badwa Ghana manyosem no wo mo behwe na ahosiesie kromu eye community cleanliness ne ade nyina wo de beka wo neno nso so wo gina so pa.
In our campaign, one of the issues I raised was to see how we can increase the involvement of chiefs in the governance architecture that we have. There are some things that we need your influence to support government to be able to achieve. Protection of the environment is one of them. The traditional areas belong to you, but it's government agencies like the EPA and all those agencies that are supposed to have the legal mandates to protect the environment. But I mean, the EPA is sitting here in Accra. How many offices do they have in your traditional areas? If somebody goes into a forest reserve and starts cutting trees down, the chief has absolutely no power to stop the person. And most of the time, the person will come with a license from Accra and say, oh, they gave me a license, this is my concession, I've come to cut timber.
Na mampanyi eba bewie kura no ene odi etudwa se bibi esese ye dani mu wo constitutional amendment review no mu no ye be ye ho adwuma.
As I said, we intend to hold a constitutional review validation conference. And at that conference, the intention is to put the work of the Fiajo Committee, which was the initial work that was commissioned by President Atta Mills, and then also the work that was done by the Chamber and Sabunsu Committee under the commission of President Nana Akufo-Addo, and put all those on the table so that we see what is still relevant in terms of amending our constitution and what is no longer relevant. As you operate under a constitution, you find some loopholes and things that were not completely anticipated. And so for every country, after a while, there might become the necessity to make amendments to a constitution. And I just give the example of the impasse between Parliament and the Supreme Court as to who has the mandate to declare seats vacant and all that. And so if we're looking at the Constitution again, that's one of the areas we should look and tighten so that it makes it clear who has the constitutional mandate to do what. There might be other issues like that that we need to look at. There are various issues that I think that if we amend, it would make our Constitution more of a living document than it is currently. We've operated under it since 1992, and I think that there are some aspects of it we must look at.
Omampenyi His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ena yete nenkano yen sentro ni omampenyi na kache Salamat Kuku apento ne tintim de ebesomye. Honorable Dr. Kese Atoforsen ena yabo ni din se omeyo soafo a obehwe sikasam eso eye Minister Designate for Finance na ushe Parliament and answer mashebe dwemo ye ton safro na ya toto wano sede emra no ehhehye no the Appointment Committee of Parliament na omo kopie nanim ma ebusa na fa National Cathedral no ho asori dan ye sidi ama nyankopon ye oman no na AC ede ama no ochirem se sa gina ye ne de sa abrenyo no ne besie obegya de ama Attorney General na sa aban lawyer panyini na wono ahwe efise ye wo mra ne hwehwe bebre wo ho a ebata ho agise wo mo hwe na omo ye ho adwuma na aban so ne sa Operation Recover All eye ora for team no omno ombeka bom ni Attorney General no na wo mahu ne ebeye ede afadwumadie no ho.
As to whether we investigate it or not, the Ministry of Finance do not have investigative power. It is the government, and based on the government agenda to investigate. I attend the office of the Attorney General and the newly established ORA. So, Mr. Chairman, let me put it this way. There are bitter lessons we have to learn from some of these expenditures and what it has done to all of us as a country and what we have gone through together, because in the end we ended up borrowing, and we borrowed into an unsustainable pit to the extent that we had to give domestic bondholders haircuts, including Euro bondholders. So we have to learn from it, and I've said that we need to identify some of these kind of expenditures. You are now aware of this one, but maybe there are a lot more that we are not aware of. Can we identify some of them? Can we pledge together, the political class, the governing class, not to continue some of these things and allow the private sector to deal with some of these things concerned? So I'll leave that here and urge you that I will work with yourselves, will identify some of these wasteful expenditures and cut them appropriately. Let's cut the waste together.
Yesa busa ne fa free senior high school ho eno ochem se no wo ntwem ne mum wo mbe pensem mu adane ani.
In fact, President Mahama has said that the free SHS has come to stay. I don't think you need any further assurance. The President of the Republic of Ghana has made this statement. Who am I? As a minister that he has appointed. So you have the assurance from the highest level of government to preserve the policy. I don't think I have what it takes to give you additional assurance. It's done. And he will be coming to this house as part of his State of the Nation address. I'm sure he will re-echo that position. I'm only a servant. My responsibility, if approved, will be to allocate resources to his priorities or to the priorities of the government. And I'll do that. So, my brother and my friend, be assured that free SHS has come to stay. And if there's anything, will come to this house for us to work together. But the president has said it. The budget will be presented to this house for us to peruse, consider it, and approve it. So let's not jump the gun, but I'm sure you are very much aware of what His Excellency, his pronouncement in the last few.
Eni ayeti Honorable Dr. Kese Atoforsen awoswafo ayabo ne din so mehwesi kasem so ne kasa ya William Gentoni Emmanuel Akule edifri mashebe dwembre bro copy Appointment Committee of Parliament enim na dwumadie no ase Dr. Atoforsen editu dwase NDC ani swade hunu ba ko omode ba ye ne se e-levy and betting taxes no omo beyi afri ho ne no omo gina mu so omode beyi adwuma pa na Honorable Lauret Koko Asante oye mashebe dwani wati wa West Ebusa no efa ho bro copy vetting committee and as Appointment Committee of Parliament edim ema wajitu musampa sa taxes ndi omo beyi afri no mafa kwan foforo so e de apeska de ayo man no.
It is obvious that we can do better. I've studied the Ghana economy for some time, and I can say without mentioning a word that Ghana has huge potential when it comes to tax revenue mobilization. You don't necessarily have to increase taxes before you rake in revenue. You have the handles. What we need to do is to improve compliance. I will work on the GRA, the tax policy unit of the Ministry of Finance, to ensure that we increase compliance and to raise the revenue as much as we can. In the medium term, it is my vision, when approved, to increase the revenue from 13.8, tax revenue from 13.8% of GDP to about 16 to 18%. That will be able to compare ourselves to our peers. I believe the potentials are out there. It doesn't necessarily mean we should increase taxes. Yes, we have obviously announced that we are going to scrap certain taxes. We'll stick to just that. But it doesn't also mean that we don't care about the revenue. We care about the revenue, and we will have to do more on revenue. But it doesn't necessarily mean we should increase taxes. Some of the taxes out there are not bringing in the revenue that it should. For example, the betting tax is bringing in less than 15 million Ghana cedis a year. It's a nuisance tax. Scrapping 15 million Ghana cedis will not mean anything in a way that will affect the economy if you are to adjust, particularly from the expenditure side. I mean, the noise with the betting tax and all does not comprehend the imposition of such a tax. And so I believe that scrapping such a tax will not necessarily affect the forward march of the Ghanaian economy.
Na Dr. Atufosin yebusa ne bibi edifa NPP abandadano one district one factory na o hye na taxes bi o ho a yayi ede afiri wo so na omu busa ne se ebra na o opposition na wo ka setia na se na wo pem so pa se sa de no emmemu no so wonu ne ho se wotu sa na mo no de ogidi se ye de yayi eto bi ede afiri enwuma so a esese ye hwe se emra ekwan so ene yenam.
On tax assumptions are well known. I do not intend to hide from that, and I won't hide from that. Mr. Chairman,